Yo, big 20K needs to be spammed in the chat. We just hit 20K. So I need y'all to make sure y'all lock in, because we're not playing no games. Like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to Carvelis and Karan for following me on Instagram yesterday. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are a big reason why we are at where we are at. So I appreciate y'all so much. We got a special video for y'all today. The entire history of the EuroLeague, I guess. Shout out to BASKETNEWS for providing this video. This video didn't come out too long ago, so we're going to look at it. We're going to react to it, see what it's talking about. First things first, bless you, Lesort. Bless you, my boy, because it looked like you sneezing. If you're not sneezing, I'll take my bless you back. Or just keep it for yourself. You feel me? Bless you. But anyway, we finna jump straight into the video. I just wanted to let y'all know I'm appreciative of the 20K. We're going to run it up as high as we can, but for right now, you got to live in the moments with some of these small accolades and small accomplishments. So 20K needs to be spammed once again.
Let's talk about basketball in Europe. You know, that place with all the different countries, languages, and a long...
And we best believe, as we keep running it up, it's going to get more fun and more fun because we're going to keep experiencing. And we're going to start traveling. You get what I'm saying? So it's going to be a whole lot of interacting. It's going to be a whole lot of. I just need y'all to know that. It don't stop. It's just getting started.
Let's talk about basketball in Europe.
We need to go to every place. Yeah, Greece.
Place with all
France.
the different countries,
all those
languages,
places.
and a long history of figuring out how to coexist without starting too many wars.
Facts.
Well, we love
Big
team
facts.
sports over here, and while football is absolutely the undisputed king of sports,
facts.
there's also this thing called the EuroLeague, which is basically the top competition for basketball clubs across the continent. But like many things in Europe, it's a bit more complicated than that. So let's take a ride through the entire history of the EuroLeague, I guess. It all started in 1958.
Okay, bet.
Well, sort of. Basketball had been around for a while, and it was growing in popularity across Europe. We all know the Americans invented the game.
Basketball was invented in the United States, so let's get that clear. I mean, for anybody that has any confusion, U.S.,
But the Europeans
I just had to do that for y'all.
U.S. were like, hey, we should do this too. So FIBA, which somehow stands for Fédération Internationale de Basketball.
Oh,
like,
wait,
where's
hold on.
the A
Federal,
in there?
Federation. It's federation. I know how to say federation. Chill out.
Bruh.
Yeah, chill the fuck out. But no, Fédération. How did he say it? Fédération.
Fédération Internationale.
Fédération. I gotta get good with all my languages. You feel me? All of them. Fédération Internationale.
Like, where's the A in there?
Internationale.
Football were like, hey, we should do this too. But the Europeans, who were way too tall for football, were like, hey, we should do this too. So FIBA, which somehow stands for Fédération Internationale de Basketball, where's the A in there? What are we doing? Anyways, FIBA decided that it was time to create a competition where the best clubs...
Hey, chill out.
What are we doing? Anyways, FIBA decided that it was time to create a competition where the best clubs from each country could go up head to head. Well, that kind of sounds like UEFA's idea. The idea was very simple. Take the champions from different countries, throw them in a big tournament, and see who's the best.
Self-explanatory. Real easy. But you know it got complications when it becomes political. You feel me? Or when it becomes financial. When it becomes business. So it wasn't as easy as projected.
And thus, the FIBA European Champions Cup was born.
Yes, sir.
Pretty straightforward name. 5 out of 10 for creativity. The first tournament kicked off in 1958, featuring 23 teams from 23 different countries, and as I said before, they were all domestic league champions.
How many of those teams still exist, like, with the same name? Obviously, they might be different names now, but how many teams still exist?
The champion of champions became a team from Riga, Latvia, which was then occupied by the Soviet Union, called ASK Riga. Now, Latvia might not be the first place you think of when you hear basketball powerhouse, but back then, these guys were pretty much unstoppable. The first ever EuroLeague dynasty, if you will, as they won the first 3 titles in a row.
Yeah,
Over
was
the
probably
next
tall
few
as
years,
hell.
the competition started heating up. 2 other teams from the Soviet Union said enough of these Latvians winning the cup, so CSK CSKA and Dinamo Tbilisi won the next.
CSK? I didn't know it was CSK. I thought it was Siska. CSK?
Enough of these Latvians winning the cup, so CSKA and Dinamo Tbilisi won the next 3 titles. The first ever non-Soviet champion was Real Madrid, which already was one of the most famous sports clubs in the world. Because of football, of course. Real won their first title in 19...
And that's very true, because as an American, as a nigga, no, I'm just playing, but and don't repeat that. But nah, as an American, when you hear Real Madrid, you think about soccer or football. You think about football. You don't think about basketball.
1964,
which is dope because we making it
most definitely
known for basketball.
When Real Madrid starts winning things,
they're already big. Even though they're already big, we making it more notorious. Yeah.
Be real. Pun most definitely intended. When Real Madrid starts winning things, people start paying attention. The 1960s and 70s were all about domination by a few key teams. Real Madrid, CSKA Moscow, and Varese from Italy were basically taking turns winning the title. CSKA was backed by the Soviet military, which meant that they had resources and talent that the other teams could only dream of. Varese, on the other hand, was a small-town team from Italy that somehow became a European basketball dynasty, winning 5 titles in the 1970s. And Real Madrid, well, they were just being Real Madrid, winning titles and making everyone else look bad. But basketball, of course, wasn't just about winning the trophies. It was also about the style of play. In the early days, European basketball was very different from the NBA. It was way more about teamwork, passing, and strategy. You didn't have guys flying through the air and
it was a lot less skill. It was still fundamentally sound, but it was a lot less skill. Now, NBA, even then in the NBA, it was a lot of skill.
Thinking of people like in the NBA, but you did have some pretty incredible ball movement and defense. And
no, for sure.
As the game evolved, so did the EuroLeague. Now let's talk about the 1980s.
Okay, now we move to the 80s.
If you were an Italian basketball fan during this time, life was pretty good. Italian teams were dominating the EuroLeague with clubs like Virtus Bologna, Olimpia Milano, and Cantu winning all the titles.
What happened to Cantu, y'all? What happened to Cantu? All my questions, I hope they get answered.
At that point, Italian basketball was at its peak, and these teams were like rock stars in their own country. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't just the Italians having fun. Yugoslavian teams like Jugoplastica Split started to rise as well. And
hold on.
Italians having fun. Yugoslavian teams like Jugoplastica Split started to rise as well. And when I say rise, I mean they became one of the best teams in the history of European basketball. Jugoplastica won 3 consecutive titles from 1989 to 1991, which was very different and much more of an achievement than having a 9 to 1991, which was
89, 90, 91.
Very different and much more of an achievement than having a three-peat when the league was just starting like ASK Riga did. They had a bunch of young, talented players who would go on to have great careers both in Europe and the NBA. And speaking of the NBA, this was around the time when European players started catching attention of the American scouts.
That's dope.
Players like Dražen Petrovic, Toni Kukoc, Vlade Divac, or Arvidas Sabonis were making a name for themselves in the EuroLeague before eventually heading to the NBA and proving that Europeans could play there just as well as the Americans. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Back in Europe, the 1990s were a time of change. The Soviet Union collapsed, Yugoslavia broke apart, and European basketball was becoming more competitive and globalized. More teams, more fans, and more TV coverage.
So a lot of this shit had to do with the war. Understandable. That answers some of my questions. Why some teams are no longer in the league or some teams don't exist. I can see that being a reason. If there's any other reasons, though, let your nigga know. It
was a pretty good time to be a basketball fan in Europe. League-wise, for the first time in 34 years, we saw a change not in just the name of the league, but the structure too. From the 1991-92 season, FIBA...
Let me go back.
League-wise, for the first time in 34 years, we saw a change not in just the name of the league, but the structure too. From the 1991-92 season, FIBA European Champions Cup became FIBA European League. See, we're getting closer to the EuroLeague. And the change came from the fact that the league was changing its structure. Instead of having a
Okay.
two-leg knockout stage and then a somewhat weird quarterfinal round-robin format, they went for a regular season, playoffs, and Final Four.
Okay.
Also that same season, they expanded to 33 teams, including the teams that were not necessarily domestic champions.
Okay.
Hence, from a Champions Cup, we got a league. Next change
Okay.
of the name came in 1996, but it
That
was
makes sense.
somewhat cosmetic, as the FIBA European League became FIBA EuroLeague.
So
Somewhat,
96?
we got a league. Next change of the name came
96?
in 1996,
Okay,
but
yeah,
it was somewhat
96.
cosmetic, as the FIBA European
From
League
European League
became FIBA
to EuroLeague.
EuroLeague.
Smooth.
Another thing also had started in 1996, and that was the dominance of the Greek clubs, as Panathinaikos actually won the title that year and did it with the former NBA superstar Dominique Wilkins leading the way. Then another Greek club.
He got in and out of there with a chip. Yeah, he got in and out of there with a chip and left. That's insane. I didn't even know he won it. No, I think I did know he won it. Yeah, no, I did know he won the chip. But that's still crazy just hearing that 1 year and he's out of there.
Olympiacos Piraeus did it the next year and showed that the Greeks were not messing around anymore.
Oh.
But more on them in just a bit. Before
Who
I
was that?
continue, Greeks were... Then another Greek club, Olympiacos Piraeus, did it the next year and showed that the Greeks were not messing
I
around
thought they said his
anymore.
name, my bad.
But more on them in just a bit. Before I continue, a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Hostinger. There's many
Hostinger.
options for designing websites, but
Make sure y'all tap in the Hostinger.
of
Make sure y'all tap in the Hostinger.
Then came the year 2000, and with it,
2000.
a whole lot of drama. You see, FIBA had been running the show for decades, but some of the biggest clubs in Europe were getting a little bit fed up. They wanted more control over how the league was run, more money, more influence. So they did what any rebellious teenager would do. They broke away. A bunch of top clubs got together and said, screw FIBA, we're starting our own league.
Oh,
and thus,
okay.
the modern EuroLeague we're still watching to this day was born. No longer controlled by FIBA, but just in the hands of the clubs.
Okay.
Meanwhile, FIBA tried to...
That makes a lot of sense, bro. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so that's why they parted ways with FIBA. Okay.
keep their competition
Just dumb it
going,
down,
renaming
you know what I
their
mean?
thing to
Easy.
the EuroLeague. Oh, okay.
What?
Renaming just in the hands of the clubs. Meanwhile, FIBA tried to keep their competition going, renaming their thing to the EuroLeague.
Yeah, no, sir.
Okay.
Uh-uh.
But here's the thing. When the top teams leave your league, it's kind of impossible to keep up. So
Yeah,
after
facts.
just one season of this weird split where we had two leagues, the Super League folded and the EuroLeague became the undisputed
pinnacle.
king of
Look at
European
you double- yeah,
basketball.
us.
Now that the EuroLeague was in charge, they started making some changes. In their inaugural season, they tried to introduce the final series instead of the Final Four.
Okay.
While the series between Kinder Bologna and Tau Ceramica Vittoria went to
Oh,
5 games.
whoa. Did y'all peep? Buddy has been my worker for the last 5-10 years. Whoever that is on the floor, I don't even know his name. He just comes in, he stacks the boxes, and then he leaves.
4. While the series between
Oh my-
Kinder Bologna and Tau Ceramica Vittoria went to 5 games,
Whoa!
it was a bit of a flop.
I'm not worried about nothing else. Who is Buddy in the background? Bullying people. Who is Buddy in the background bullying
Tried
that
to
nigga?
introduce the final series instead of the Final Four. While the series
It looked like he punched on him and his big brother. You feel me? If you could correlate that scenario to what that looks like.
between Kinder Bologna and Tau Ceramica Vittoria went to 5 games,
And then
overall,
yelled
it
at
was a
him.
bit of a flop, as it attracted fewer viewers and made less
Yeah.
revenue.
Was
Thus,
that
they
Manu?
changed the format around a few more times, settling for
Chill,
a
Manu.
It went to 5 games. Overall, it was a bit of a flop, as it attracted fewer viewers and made less revenue.
Yeah.
Thus, they changed the format around a few more times, settling for a regular season with groups, top 16 round, playoffs, and the Final Four.
Yes, sir.
The Final Four was and still is the highlight of the European basketball
No,
calendar.
for sure.
Basically,
For sure.
a Super Bowl of European basketball, but way more intense.
Yeah, for
Anyways,
sure.
the EuroLeague started attracting more talent from all over the world, including a bunch of
Know what's
American
going on.
players who didn't quite make it to the NBA or were just looking for a better role and a better paycheck. These
Facts.
players brought some of that NBA flair to Europe, and suddenly you started seeing more dunks,
Hey!
more athleticism, and just overall a faster pace of play.
Yeah,
it was like
facts.
the best of both worlds, the teamwork and strategy of European basketball mixed with the athleticism of the NBA. The early years of the new millennium saw teams like Panathinaikos, Maccabi Tel Aviv, and FC Barcelona making their mark. Maccabi in particular was a force to be reckoned with. They won back-to-back titles in 2004 and 2005, and they didn't just win. They became one of the most iconic dynasties in EuroLeague's history. Panathinaikos, on the other hand, had their run of titles from 1996 to 2011, capturing 6 most iconic 2004 and 2005.
Okay, so 2 titles back to back.
They didn't just win. They became one of the most iconic dynasties in EuroLeague's history. Panathinaikos, on the other hand, became one of the titles in 2004. Maccabi in particular.
Oh, this was Maccabi. I'm sorry, my bad. I thought that was Finner for a second.
6 EuroLeague trophies in just 15 years. This was the time where the
6 and
legend
15,
of the
that's
head
tough.
coach Željko Obradović was really created. Generally, you could say that that era for the Greens is still regarded as probably the most dominant in the league's history. Fast forward to the 2010s, and the EuroLeague is now a much better oiled machine than it was before. Of course, it was also a time of the financial crisis around the world, which pretty much affected all of the clubs. But in particular, the Italian ones, as they either went bankrupt and disappeared completely or had the financial crisis around the world, which pretty much affected all of the clubs. But in particular, the Italian ones, as they either went bankrupt and disappeared completely or had to go play in the lower level. The first half of the decade was run mostly by the Greek, Spanish, Russian, and Turkish teams. The first half of the decade was run mostly by the Greek, Spanish, Russian, and Turkish teams. We saw a championship repeat for Olympiacos, Barcelona, and Real Madrid competing for the title constantly. The rise of Fenerbahce Istanbul, led by the Real Madrid competing for the title constantly. The rise of Fenerbahce Istanbul, led by the same legendary Željko Obradović, and the usual suspects Maccabi Tel Aviv or CSKA Moscow in the Final Fours. Then from the 2016-17 season, the EuroLeague introduced the modern format we know today, a round-robin regular season where every team plays each other.
Said every team plays each other. Second day, third day.
Followed by the playoffs and, of course, the Final Four.
Okay, I didn't know that.
This format was a complete game changer. All of a sudden, every game mattered, and the regular season became just as exciting as the playoffs.
Now that's
fans were treated to high-stakes basketball every week, and the drama was just non-stop. Fenerbahce's victory in 2017 was historic. It was the first time a Turkish team won the EuroLeague, and they did it in front of their home fans in Istanbul, making it even sweeter. But it wasn't just about the big clubs. Smaller teams like Žalgiris Kaunas or Baskonia Vitoria also had their moments, making the Final Four and proving that in the EuroLeague there can be Cinderella stories.
Yeah, that's tough.
The league
that's very
was now
tough.
a global brand signed with IMG that got a complete rework, not just structure-wise, but also in terms of its looks. New logo, new broadcast standards, new everything. Pretty cool. Now we're in 2020s, and let's just say things have been interesting. The decade started off with a global pandemic, which pretty much shut everything down in the entire...
And that's the whole reason why I'm even in front of this screen with y'all right now. COVID hit. I graduated from college during COVID, and that's all she wrote. You know what I mean? So that had me enter the content creation space. And all I'm still playing to this day is very tricky, especially with how the world is right now.
The world, and you all know about it, including the EuroLeague, of course. The 2019-20 season was just cancelled, marking the first time in history that the EuroLeague didn't crown a champion.
On his neck.
It's cancelled, marking the first time in history that the EuroLeague didn't crown a champion. Although if you asked a certain coach by the name of Ergin Ataman, he would tell you who the champs actually were. Then the league bounced back in 2021, but of course the pandemic left its mark. Games were played in empty arenas, thus some teams struggled financially. But despite all these challenges, the EuroLeague continued to deliver.
And from empty arenas to 20, 30,000, it's just like the NBA. From empty arenas to thousands and thousands of people watching y'all.
Anadolu Efes, a team that had always been good but never great, suddenly became this unstoppable dynasty. They won back-to-back titles in 2021 and 2022, led by the unstoppable duo of Shane Larkin and Vasilije Micic. And of course, coach Ergin Ataman, who moved to Panathinaikos Athens in 2023 and managed to win yet another title in 2024, making him the champion coach for the last 3 or 4 teams.
Yeah, he's going
really
crazy.
Makes you think that the 2020s might be recalled as the Ataman era in the future.
It might
Finally,
be.
the 2020s have also been a decade of innovation for the EuroLeague. The league has been more and more digital, offering EuroLeague TV streaming services, and even esports have become a part of the EuroLeague experience.
That's fine.
There were changes in the management positions. Also, we saw an introduction of the play-in tournament, and there's even talks about an all-star weekend in the future.
That's gonna go
But with
crazy.
all these changes, some things remain the same. The rivalries are still intense, the fans are still the most passionate in the world, and the Final Four is still the most anticipated event on the European basketball calendar. And that's the entire history of the EuroLeague, I guess.
That's
From
fire.
the Champions-only tournament in 1958 with a pure idea of finding out who's the best to a global basketball powerhouse, the EuroLeague has come a long way. It's a league built on tradition, but never afraid to embrace change. And let's just hope that as long as there are fans who love the game, the EuroLeague will keep on delivering the best basketball Europe has to offer. Make sure to drop a like on this video.
Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe to Basket News. They always delivering the best information of the EuroLeague. That's why we keep reacting to these videos, because at the end of the day, we need to be more informed. We need to get more knowledge, more information. And that's what we're here to do. I appreciate y'all for the 20K. Big 20K in the chat, man. Make sure y'all go spam up those social medias. Instagram, TikTok, X, Snapchat, everything. All right? I'll see y'all very soon. This video is dropping today. So if y'all spam today, I'll have some crazy shout outs tomorrow. I promise y'all. I will not let y'all down. 20K is finally here. 50K loading up soon. 50K is the next K we looking forward to. All right. I'll see y'all very soon. Appreciate y'all. We up out of here.